Well, Malta's golden passport has officially been shut down following a European Court of Justice ruling that it commercialized EU citizenship. But that doesn't mean the door is closed to Malta. Sarah Young from Sable International is in the studio to break down what's changed, what still holds value, and why Malta continues to draw global interest. Hi, Sarah. So nice to see you again.
Thanks so much for having me today.
So the golden passport, no, off the table, but what is still available in Malta?
Thanks so much, Linda. So Malta traditionally had two programs. They had a citizenship by investment program, which largely required a huge monetary donation to the Maltese authorities, but they've also had a very long-standing residence program. Initially termed the MRVP, the Residence Visa Program, it was revised into the PRP, the Permanent Residence Program, a few years ago. And in July of this year, we've just seen the program be revised again, rendering it much more attractive to investors and families. They've made some significant changes to the program now. Traditionally, there's always been a route to residency through either owning a property in Malta or through a property lease option for those that don't want to invest initially into property. But traditionally, you would need to keep that property address in Malta for a minimum of 5 years. There was no option to sublet the property that you were using as your physical address in Malta. With the revisions now, those that choose to invest into property have now got immediate leasing rights from the word go, which means that they are able to, generate a yield on any property owned, and it starts to then make investment sense to invest into Malta in Europe and then have an asset that is allowing them access into Europe as well. In addition to the property address requirement, there is a minimum net wealth requirement of 500,000 euros. So it's still very much a program aimed for your high net worth individuals. But essentially, you're not needing to commit that capital to the program. There are some government fees, non refundable government fees come into approximately 97,000 euros for a family of four. But in comparison to the original citizenship program in Malta, you were looking at a minimum non-refundable contribution of 650,000 euros just for the main applicant. So this is a much more affordable program for the right people looking for a solution that enables them to secure a European footprint and essentially permanent residency in Malta.
So it comes with permanent residency.
Correct. And the permanent residency for these investment programs are sometimes not cannot be compared like for like. For example, in Greece, if you invest into property, you can secure permanent residency, but there's no working rights in Greece. With the Maltese permanent residency, you're actually securing lifetime rights for you and your family in Malta with the ability to live, work, study, retire in Malta. So it essentially opens a door to you that remains open to you and your family, including your children, for the rest of their lives.
So, is there a pathway to citizenship to a passport?
It's not a straightforward route to citizenship, no. Malta's just revised their citizenship legislation, and they are now have a citizenship by merit, whereby for those making substantial contributions to Malta or to humanity, they can be at the discretion of the Maltese government awarded citizenship. But essentially, not everybody necessarily requires citizenship because permanent residency can often tick all the boxes and afford you all the rights that you actually need. I always give myself as an example of this. I'm a British national. You can hear that from my accent, but I live and work in South Africa. I've got permanent residency here, and permanent residency affords me to do everything I need to be able to get on with my day to day life. So, subject to what the goals are for the individual and their family, securing Maltese citizenship might not actually be a necessity because permanent residency may offer them everything they want. The ability to spend extra time in Europe. You could base yourself in Malta, but still be able to travel around the Schengen area for 90 days out of every 180 days. So, in combination with time spent in Malta, you could spend a large portion of the year in Europe if you so wished.
So, are there annual physical presence requirement for residency holders?
Not true, and not a true requirement. So, in the first year of residency, applicants should be looking to spend 2 to 3 weeks in Malta, but there's no ongoing annual requirement. So, after that, you can really spend as much or as little time in Malta as you wish.
Well, some countries offer relocation benefits. Does Malta offer that?
They do. And I think this is one of the reasons why Malta is proving to be a very popular destination with South Africans, with Brits, with the US. It's an English speaking destination. English is a business language there. And also, they've got great schooling options, university, also excellent healthcare facilities, both public and private. So, for those that actually do wish to, spend the majority of the year in Malta, it really can be a great destination. It's a great central Mediterranean hopping off point to the rest of Europe. You've got daily flights in and out from London, from most European capitals via the low cost airlines. Easy transport hub through to the Middle East as well. So it really becomes a very attractive destination, but also affords you the benefits of great healthcare and education options if you do decide you want to actually physically relocate and live in Malta.
So, is that why it's quite an appealing destination for South Africans?
Yeah, it's interesting because in Malta, there's also quite a big South African expat community. So, you can even buy your biltong and you hear Afrikaans in the streets. It's an interesting place. It's such a medley and sort of melting pot of different cultures, different people, wonderful foods. It's very much an outdoors lifestyle, which I think also appeals to South Africans. Great climate. They've got, over 300 days of sunshine per year. It's a really lovely spot, and the Maltese are very welcoming, hospitable people too. And so, for that reason, I think it does resonate with South Africans who want to have access to Europe, and but also want to sort of feel at home in a country too. That it's not so different from what they know and love.
And in terms of language, I've been to Malta. I found that so many people speak English.
Yeah, I mean, it's an official language. Everywhere you go, most menus are in English. The doctors all speak English. All of your professionals speak English. So it's not a requirement to learn Maltese in schools. There are some schools that are English speaking, others which are obviously taught in Maltese, but with English as a school language. So it's very much a dual language country, and I think that really facilitates an easy kind of introduction for people coming from outside.
Well, most of Europe have seen a surge in applications from Americans. Is that true for Malta as well?
Yes, so the Maltese property market is having is garnering a lot of interest from the US nationals right now. I think it particularly appeals to certain types of people. So when you're used to maybe living in smaller quarters in sort of built up areas, but enjoying that the lifestyle and the beaches and things, I speak to a lot of clients in New York, for example. They're used to apartment living, so apartment living in Malta really just suits them. But you've got the best of both because you've literally got the beaches on the doorstep, but then you've got, lock up and go as well, so that you can be safe and secure in the knowledge that all of your personal belongings are safe. Malta's a very safe country, so it's a great spot to base yourself.
So, how does Malta compare to Portugal, which is still a very popular South African destination?
Absolutely. And I would say Portugal is still really a top European residency by investment program, primarily because it's the only program that now allows a route to citizenship without the need to relocate and to live in country, something that no other European residency by investment program offers. I think, your biggest appeal for Malta is that it's not requiring the same capital outlay. Also, your physical property requirement. So whether you opt to pursue that property purchase or lease is a minimum requirement of 5 years, and after that, you could, if you wanted to, downgrade to a lesser property of a lesser value, for example. Whereas the Portugal program, you really are committing your full investment for a minimum of 7 to 8 years because of the processing delays. But also, one of the new benefits of Malta is that it's really offering an expedited route to residency. So you don't have those long lead times where you're waiting for your first residency card to be issued. So, with this permanent residence program, they've offered investors the option to apply from initial submission for temporary residency, which can be issued in a matter of weeks from submission of your biometrics in Malta. So, it really gives a family the option to secure residency on a very quick expedited timeline, something that Portugal cannot offer. And Portugal at the moment, it could take 2.5 years to get your first residency card issued. So it's very much key for me to understand, the investor and their family's goals and motivations, exactly what they're hoping to achieve. Portugal can still definitely tick all the boxes for a lot of clients, but it requires that larger capital outlay and it requires a lot of patience. Malta, it's much more immediate to see those benefits. And also, you've got that lower capital outlay.
For South Africans, they always ask anybody who lives overseas, is it cold? Malta, literally, I mean, it's now October, is probably still fine.
Yeah, the whole year round, Malta is such an enjoyable climate. It's fairly dry air. It's hot. It's cloudless. The sun shines, and when the sun shines, everybody feels happy. I think that's also why they have such a wonderful disposition. It's such a lovely, lovely place to be outside, out and about, and so close to the rest of Europe.
So to end off, a lot of these countries are clamping down. They sort of narrowing the route and the options. So do you think Malta stands out as one of those that are a good prospect?
100%. I think the fact that Malta has now redefined their nationality legislation, you know, to offer residency for qualifying investment to high net worth individuals that can meet the requirements and all the due diligence. There's absolutely no reason why that program would change. It is so robust. The Maltese are also very vigilant in their due diligence and KYC and vetting of individuals, which does make the application process complex, comprehensive, but at the same time, that stands to the testament of why the program has such a good reputation. And so I truly believe this program is here to stay. I think it's got, great history behind it. The fact that they continually revise it to make it more attractive to investors also shows that they really value the type of people and that are coming to Malta and securing their residency through this program.
Is that a good place to move your business to, or to even start a business?
Yeah, Malta's got some great structuring opportunities. A lot of corporates do choose to structure through Malta. There's also great taxation benefits that can be had with the correct structuring. So from that point of view as well, for entrepreneurs looking to build out their business into Europe, Malta can be a great place to start that European journey.
Well, Sarah Young, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Linda.